right. Don't you know? Don't you know? Welcome to another edition of the Chirping Pucks podcast, the late night show here. Uh, Frank the Tank, Frankie No Deek, live here with my co-host Coach Becks. Coach Becks, how are you?
Getting better. Finally getting over being sick. I think I missed you there for a little while, man. It's been a minute since we've been together. How you doing?
Yeah, it has been a minute. I mean, we took the little break. We took the little break, and then we had a show schedule. We had a reschedule, and then here we are. I was out at Iceworks tonight, cheering
Nice.
on, doing some photo work for the Gremlins. Give them a little plug. They played Philadelphia Freeze tonight. Love the Gremlins. We're huge supporters of the Gremlins over here at the Triple Bucks podcast. Tough loss. 3-2 overtime, controversial call. Goaltender had the puck frozen. It was in the mix, couldn't see it, and ref didn't blow the whistle. Puck ends up in the net, Philadelphia Freeze. But yeah. Shout out to Dawn over there, to Jurgs, the whole crew. They're a great club, and
Yeah,
looking
she's
forward.
done a heck of a job putting that team together and really building that program year after year.
Yeah,
It's
she's a
impressive
great
to see.
captain. Yeah, she's a great captain too. Yeah, she's just a good person. We're excited to have them on. But before we get into it, obviously you saw a little flyer that was up there. Not to plug myself, but of course, gotta do it when it's due. Started a new YouTube channel, Frankie No Deek. Please follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel on YouTube at Frankie No D59. So I'm gonna start doing a lot of content now where I'm mic'd up. I'm mic'd up on during my men's league games, and I would appreciate if everybody can subscribe. So head on over to YouTube, Frankie No D59. Got a little clip here that we'll show, and then we'll get into the show. So here's a little clip that uh, Puck Pro Media, newest sponsor of the podcast. Make sure you follow them, Puck Pro Media. They're right there in the corner for any kind of services you may need, whether it be video, whatever it is. But
Wing.
here's a
All
little clip.
right, here we go. Here we go. First line. Oh, so someone's trying to hit me. Oh, Bauer's playing defense tonight. Woo! I got off. Oh, come on. I got back. Stop. I got back. I got back. Well, I thought this was delayed offside. What is this, 12U?
And there it is. But yeah, to see more, follow Frankie No Deek 59 on YouTube. But so the NHL season has come to an end. And great season, great playoffs. Like the playoffs are like there's nothing like it. There's nothing like hockey playoffs. I'm telling you, like wherever it may be. I'm a huge fan of it. I mean, to me, it's the hardest trophy to win. Most people
Hands
say
down.
that. I think everybody typically should say something like that because it really is. Like you don't know, like any team can really win. Like like with football, like with the rankings and stuff like that, you know who's typically going to make it. It's usually the top two teams. And there's an upset here and there, but the Stanley Cup is one of the toughest trophies to win. Besides men's league, of course, but we're here or there. Yeah, right. Yeah, the old beer league. But yeah,
That's a
it's one
heavy
of the
trophy
toughest.
to lift too, though. Those kegs are heavy, man.
Yo, listen, I remember so last summer league when I was playing at the Grundy League for the No Deeks, we won the chip. It was my first year with them, and they handed it off to me second, and I grabbed it and I threw it up, and I was like, "Whoa!" And I almost went back, dude. I did.
I believe
I almost
it.
I almost went right back, and just a quick shout out here, some of our friends over here on Instagram checking in. Delco Batman, thank you, brother. Danny checking in. Legs, hope you're doing good, brother. Good to see you checking in on the show for the first time. We'll definitely be in touch. I definitely want to have you come on the show. I think I might have mentioned that. So thanks for checking in, my friend. Good to see you on the IG. But Florida Panthers, they did it. They
They
did it.
did it.
I'll tell you, the first thing I thought of when they won last night was like Claude Giroux, because Claude Giroux got traded to the Florida Panthers from the Flyers, and they were the top team in the NHL, and they just couldn't make it
Right.
happen.
That was supposed to be the year, and get him his cup, and it's like he missed what Kyle Oposo got.
Well, yeah, well said, Bexy. Well said. And that's kind of right. Like, it just wasn't meant to be. But don't want to take away from the Florida Panthers. That's just one of the things I thought of right away. So for win the Stanley Cup. it's just it was an incredible celebration, a, big win, and, we were talking about, like, some predictions and stuff like that. We talked about some of the players that, like, the standout stars. You actually had, Hyndman as, like, a really underrated player, and he really showed up, actually, like, he played pretty well. You saw some of those players that just I knew my opinion, Florida had more talent all the way around, but they obviously have the McDavid and the Draisaitl and stuff like that, but, like, I thought that Florida had more talent. I thought that the coaching is really big with me. I always said that, like, about the Hurricanes, like, I think that they have, like, the best coaching with Rob Brendamore. Um, I just knew that Florida was I just not saying I knew because no one really knows, and that's the beautiful thing about this sport, but, it was great to see Florida get it for a number of reasons. Obviously, you gotta and we'll dive into it more about Sergei
Yeah.
Bobrovsky,
I mean,
seeing Bobrovsky do it. Yeah, Bex.
yeah, no, their depth, I mean, I think all the way through, first line, fourth line, first D pair, third set D pair. I think you have more talent all the way through. Do you have superstars? I mean, yes, to the level that Edmonton has superstars. No, I mean McDavid, McJesus, McBaby, whatever you want to call him,
McDick.
that is he is beyond a generational talent. We talk about generational talent, and he is truly beyond that. He is a great of the NHL
Oh, he's the
period.
best.
We
Yeah.
know that's only coming. So, and Florida does not have anybody that would, sit up there with him. Superstar players, some
Yeah.
generational stuff, sure, but
Mhm.
to that
Yep.
degree, not the same.
That's true. It's a
The
good
other
point
thing
that you
is
just
like
made right
the
there.
yeah. The other thing is like they sit there and like the whole way they talked, the team was special because it felt like a family, and Maurice talked about that, and like every single person they interviewed talked about that, and the community that they've instilled and culture they've created, and I think when you have that, it goes way further than you realize, like the importance of it.
When you have a club that and you look at certain things and you start to think more about it, like you have like and you're right with the generational talent and like I mean McDavid is the best player in the world and it might not even be really that close. I mean that dude is unreal. And you have Draisaitl who's an incredible scorer. Like when you like you know what I mean? Like it's not even like one of those things where you can have the conversation of what would Draisaitl be if McDavid wasn't there? It's not even like that's not even a realm because I just don't even believe that because it's gonna be tough to keep both of them, and things will get interesting at one point. But you think about like the how they won and like the meaning behind it. Like you have, you know, Matt Tkachuk, who I always said, hands down, if I was going to build an NHL team and I was going to have to surround that team around one player, Matt Tkachuk 100% is that guy for me personally. Um, that's just my opinion. If I was gonna build a team, Matt Tkachuk 100% is would be the guy that I would build it around. And like, with his father, I watched his dad, Keith Tkachuk, growing up. Like, you know what I mean? Like winning it and then seeing him pass it off to him. That was absolutely incredible. A little bit of technical difficulties from Bex, but she'll be back momentarily. Um, seeing him pass it off to him, his father, that was absolutely incredible. You saw Brady there, like, and he was just enjoying himself. Like, it was just really cool to see, and seeing him hand it off to Bobrovsky second. Now, obviously, you have these like long year, 10-year players that have been playing for so long that finally get the cup. Bob being one of them, 17 years. Obviously, you saw like the Flyers had him. The tough move to make is to getting rid of him. Coach Back's back with us.
Sorry.
The Philly, I was just more or less talking about, like the moments behind it. Like you saw, like Matthew Chuck pass the trophy, the Stanley Cup off to his dad, and I had mentioned like if I was going to build a team around any player, it would be Matthew Chuck, like hands down. That would be my one guy that I would pick. But there was just special meanings behind. Like obviously, Florida as a whole has been pretty successful with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and now the Panthers. Like they're just a really, really good club. I love good gritty clubs too. Like obviously they have Ratko Gudas, who before he was with the Flyers for a little bit, and he didn't play this year, obviously. But like you have like those are guys that part of that club. Sam Bennett, everything around surrounding Sam Bennett, with obviously the hit with Marchand. Like it's crazy to think because Marchand had went off and said like listen, it's the playoffs. You do things like this to try and win when he had taken him out.
Yeah.
Like if that play didn't happen and if Marchand didn't go out for 2 games, what would have happened? Like you do literally everything you can to win. It's the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And people were hesitant on the move and what had happened to Marchand, but then again, not many people like Marchand. But
Yeah, I mean,
it was an incredible series.
I'm with you. I'm with you on, like you do what you have to do, but touching on the Kachuk thing, I mean, I think this is one of those people are gonna talk about the
Yeah.
impact of that trade
Yeah.
and the outcome of that trade for years to come, and it is going to be a benchmark
Mhm.
of measuring other trades after this.
When he had gotten traded, because it's funny because like he left, and I believe like John Gaudreau left. Like they almost like Calgary brought in some players like that were like they brought in Kadri, and you almost thought like, wow. I mean, they had Markstrom, who incredible goaltender, but and obviously he left and went over to the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, we'll be
But
seeing him a lot this year
yeah,
coming
we'll be
up.
seeing him a lot this year. Like, dude's a pretty solid freaking goaltender too. But that just really helped their club. But yeah, we'll get into that like when we cover like the start of the season and stuff like that. But like just the way that they won it, and the way that the series really went, like it was pretty crazy. And got a comment here. I'm gonna put this on the screen. So my good friend Anna McNally, what's going on, brother? Thanks for checking in. The curse of Corey Perry continues, which is I'm not a big curse guy, but it's kind of funny because once again 4 times, man. Like he's on a squad and things don't work out. And he had he had the big goal in one of the games this series. But it was been part of the league for a long time, so he has that good veteran leadership, and I think that's why he was probably there. But
Yeah,
but yeah,
he
he's
says
not.
he
He's not.
says he's coming back. He
I
says
know.
he's not
Yeah, he's.
done.
Nobody wants to be done. I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
He.
mean, I don't know. We
He's.
had a couple retirement announcements this week, Andrew Cogliano being one.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, it happens. Some guys, say they're done and they're done. But yeah, I think he's really trying to put it to the test here. So we'll
That's
see what
absolutely true.
happens.
It's funny because you see, like you said, yeah, like you said, after, I mean, it's great to go out on top, and I think that that's really what solidifies. Excuse me, solidifies a lot of these players. Like after they win, that you call like why not call quits on top? Like what it's the decisions of the loss that brings you back. It's like, dude, we were right there. Let's come back and run it back, and then sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Um,
Yeah.
but it was a great game. It was a great series. Just kind of like how everything had happened. It really, really was. And I want to dive into now just kind of like a little bit about this series. And this is we're going to call this like the 3 wins to start, one more to win. Florida came in and just was really, really, really strong. Just really,
Yeah,
really
they were
strong.
ripping. They were running them through the boards.
Yeah, they were just playing really, really strong hockey. They go up 3-0 in the series. And, nobody expects the team to get swept. I mean, like, especially Edmonton. I think if Edmonton would have got swept, I mean, it would have been like, whoa, like that. I did not see that coming. And then
Yeah.
the 180 happens. And it's game 4. Do or die, win and the cup's yours. And they come out and Edmonton comes out and absolutely destroys them. Like it was a total 180. Like the momentum just went right to Edmonton. Like Florida had won those 3 games and then played well, and then Edmonton just starts to show up. And I think that had a lot to do, obviously, with McDavid, and he just started to take over. And when you have a player like that, he's one of those quiet leaders. Like not I'm gonna say like a Mike Richards, but like he's just he shows up on the ice, and
Yeah.
when you have guys like that, people will start to follow behind you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of those moments where, it's really hard to be down 3-0, and it's really hard to come back and complete the reverse sweep. I mean, I think you can count, on one hand the number of times that or maybe two hands, the number of times that's actually happened in the NHL. Like that is truly one of the hardest things to do in sports, period. And then to play a team like Florida, they're not gonna play dead. They're not gonna like they're
Mhm.
not gonna just, roll over and take it. It just might take a minute for them to go, "Oh, wait. Well, now we just gotta do it." And I think that kind of was where Florida
Mhm.
ended up after those losses, was just like, they stopped thinking about winning in the sense of win the Stanley Cup, and just started thinking about, we need to win this game. And I think
Yeah,
having those
and
extra games, they just kind of didn't have that same edge.
yeah, it was just a total 180, and we got some comments coming in here. We'll answer this question, and we'll do our check-ins on IG. My good friend Gio, what's going on, brother? Do you think the 3 games Edmonton won cost Bob the Conn Smythe? Wow, great question. And yeah, 100%. If they would have lost one, great question by the way, Gio. Get looking forward to seeing you down at the Flyers game this year too. Absolutely, 100%. I wanna see what other people think too, and for everybody on Instagram, you guys can comment in. I can read your, I can't put your comment on the screen, but I can read it off of the Instagram. So any comments on this one? So, especially my goaltenders out here, quick plugs for a few of them. My main man, John Hood, what's going on? Thanks for checking in, my brother. Looking forward to our show. Um, Mark, thanks for checking in. We gotta do a little shout out for my main man, Regan. Thanks for checking in, my brother. Gotta give you a little plug. My good friend Regan O'Grady just got accepted a position as the attack assistant coach for the Owen Sound. Congratulations, my friend. Definitely looking forward to having you come on too. Regan's out and does some work with the work with like Winnipeg. He was the Manitoba Moose color commentator. We got to know each other pretty well from World Youth. That's my good friend over there. Congratulations again on your new role. But moving
That's
on.
awesome.
Yeah,
Congrats to him.
100%. Oh yeah, he's the man.
Yeah, I
100%. I
say,
think that it absolutely did cost him.
yeah. I mean, I think if those games are closer, if those losses are 1-goal losses, maybe Bob doesn't lose the Conn Smythe, but that 8-goal one game, and I know not every goal went in against him, but like,
Mhm.
you get yanked, man. Like that's gonna definitely look a certain way,
Yeah,
and yeah, so
yeah, you
I
have to be
think I think
stellar. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that he like when you win the Conn Smythe, and there's a couple things I'm going to touch on this as well. Like with the Conn Smythe, like you as a goaltender, like when you probably only lose one game. If you want to look at it, and like I said, my good friend John Hood's on watch, and I'd love to know your take on this too. Like probably only can lose one game. Um, but yeah, this definitely fitted. My comment is, and I want to actually know your opinion on this, since it was probably favorite that Bobrovsky was going to win the Conn Smythe, but considering that Connor McDavid won it, and we were going to touch on this a little bit later on, but I guess we can talk about it now. Considering that he won it, did they just not see anybody else? Because you know did they just not see anybody else on Florida that was good enough? Because, Rodriguez had an incredible playoff series, especially in the finals. And John Hood, my good friend from the UAHL, checks in right here. The concept of this for the whole playoffs, my vote was Bob. And the touch on that right here, his stats: 16-8, goals against average is a 2.32, and a save percentage of 906. That's incredible. I mean, that's right there. So you almost think about it. Look at what his record would have been. It would have been, six what, they knock off 3 losses there. So yeah, I think that definitely was played a factor in it. in the decision of why they went with McDavid. But did they just not see anybody else on Florida that was good enough to win that trophy? I mean, McDavid broke the record. I believe he broke like Gretzky's like assist record or something like that, which is incredible. It's the second time that a player who lost the cup won. I think Reggie Leach from the Flyers was the first. It's cool to see. Like, obviously, like you expect the champions to get that because obviously they won. So who like would be the standout? So it's cool to kind of see. But yeah, like who. So here's my question. I'm going to ask the our viewers this as well for Florida's sake. So Bob doesn't win it. Who would have been the next person in line on Florida if like the winner of the cup is the only one I can get like a Conn Smythe as well? Who would have won the Conn Smythe realistically? I mean, you could throw. I mean, their captain had an incredible playoffs too. I mean, he played incredible. But
That's
the loss,
I was gonna lean on Barkov.
Barkov, yeah. How can you not? Like, how can you not?
Yeah.
And
I
like
mean, I think
Rodriguez,
he
like he
showed up
played
the
incredible.
most consistently because it like everybody forgets it's not just the final, it's the whole
All
playoffs,
playoffs.
right? Like,
Mhm.
so to me, that goes to Barkov. Like, if you're not giving it to Bob's, you're giving it to Barkov.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever. Yeah. I mean, let me think here. Who would have I don't know who I would have also picked on Florida. It's really close. I mean, Rodriguez had some big goals. Like he had one game where he scored two. Like, talk about a guy that you just didn't expect. Like, I mean, that's what the hockey playoffs are all about. You get those guys that just show up, and that's why this it's the hardest trophy to win. Like, it takes like a goaltender to steal a game for you. It takes like that player like to bump up, like almost like even like that Sam Bennett, like to like
Right.
really
Or
show up.
Verhage finally showing up on game 7.
Literally, literally.
Like, he had a
Jordan
goal and an assist. He didn't do anything the whole rest of the time.
Tyler checks in. What's going on, brother? Another good hockey player. If it's any time, this would have been the time Connor McDavid wins. Another comment he also has here. I think they're going to come out with a lot of injuries by all players from both teams. Edmonton looked tired. Great point you make on that because when they pulled the goalie and you saw like Edmonton trying to get it going, and you saw that like the puck carrier getting ready to bring it up, dude, they were gassed.
They were
They
gassed.
were
Well, they
just
said
they were gassed.
that top unit, those top 5 guys had
Yeah,
over 15 minutes of ice time in the 3rd period. So, what? I think McDavid was like 16:25 with time on ice.
you were playing
Like
down.
I'd be exhausted. Like, nothing for nothing. I think in my league that's a whole period.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And checking on Instagram here, John Hood once again. Verhage would have been my other vote. So yeah, he would have picked him. Jordan Tyler, thanks for checking in again. I'm wondering if they could have conserved their energy more. I just don't know how they would have. I mean, because you knew that you realistically, and I looked at this and I was starting to make my notes, and when I was dissecting the game a little bit more, Draisaitl hasn't scored in 8 games. That was a
I
huge,
think
huge.
he's could be somebody coming out with an injury. I mean, they all are, but I think he's gonna come out with something pretty big because he couldn't move.
No, he couldn't move, and listen, and to think, without him producing the way that he always produces, like they were still 1 game away. You know, could you imagine if he could have
Yeah,
got like, they essentially were able to come back from 3-0, force a game 7, lose by 1 goal without your number 2 best player, possibly your best scorer. Because listen, there's been times where he scored more goals than McDavid. Like your best
yeah.
scorer,
I mean,
okay?
yeah. I think he's their best playmaker. Like
Mhm.
he's a pretty solid like setup guy. So yeah,
Oh, he does it.
to be missing that aspect. But I mean, like if you think about it, what we say? So 15 minutes. We'll say 15 minutes on ice for that third period for those 5 guys. I think Florida had 4 shots in the whole period, right? So those shots probably came on like, those 5 minutes where those players were not on the ice. And the only thing between them and a lot of goals was Bob's. Like, you need superstar players to play out of this world, and it took 1 to stop 5.
Oh yeah, and listen, the way you saw Bob was just playing outrageous, and obviously people go back to like just the fact of like not having him with the Flyers anymore. Like he 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 just played on his head, man. Like I said, if when like the playoffs just elevate certain players, or and you saw Bob's game just elevate, and not to mention like their coaching is just incredible.
Well,
Like what a player's
we talked
coach.
about this when we did our playoff talk and talking about the team. I mean, I know that episode got cut short, but the fact how much money Florida has invested into their goaltender coaching and training and involvement is like par none compared to the rest of the NHL. So like part of me isn't surprised that Bob's could even take a rebound from those kind of losses to have a game like he had in 7,
Yeah.
and also to take his game to a whole nother level. From the regular season into playoffs, into the final, into game 7 after everything that transpired in 4 through 6, Like
Yeah.
that's just insane.
So we were talking about the time on ice. So Leon Draisaitl, I have some stats up here, and these are brought to you by on NHL.com. Draisaitl, 22 minutes on ice. McDavid, 25:42. Those are Provorov was averaging less than that, and he was playing almost 20. Like, you know what I mean? Like these guys were just
Right.
on. Zach Hyman, 24 minutes. You want to talk about Evan Bouchard, almost 30 minutes he played.
That's half a
He
game.
led the
That's a half a game.
it's half a game. Like your main guys were just
But like,
absolutely gassed.
dude, but like, if it broke it down by play by period, like look at those third period numbers. They're crazy.
Yeah, sadly it doesn't show that, but yeah, I mean you have to. But I mean, listen, it's do or die. When you play down and you're down in game 7, you do everything you can. Realistically, you have to do everything you can, and that's kind of where like I mean, but they just played all these games. I mean, the body's beat up. The body's beat up. I mean, these guys are trained, and don't get me wrong, but like, listen, still human. It was a great series. Like I had Florida winning it. It was incredible. Like it was incredible just seeing all the celebrations. It was incredible seeing to Chuck get it, and we'll start the transition into with talk about Paul Maurice now. We've got a couple more comments here. I just want to put this up here. Do the Flyers, this is from Gio, do the Flyers have a center good enough to feed Michkov for goal scoring, or does a trade make sense? Well, just off the top of my head, and we're definitely going to do our Michkov talk on our next episode. We didn't want to combine the two because we didn't really want to take away too much. But yeah, that is big news. Michkov is coming to the Flyers. Do the Flyers have a center good enough? I mean, who you got to think about? Who would you pair? Right? Who do you pair it with? Who do you pair? What's the line? Right now, yeah, I think
I
that
mean, so I think yeah. As far as do we have a all-star center?
No, we don't have any all-stars.
Maybe not, but I think Frost is going to be a hell of a setup man. I'll give you like even Cates, because like Michkov's so offensive minded. Cates with his defensive play and his vision can be a great setup guy.
Yeah, I think just the
there's
talent alone
potential
with
that
Michkov.
we don't realize. Plus, let's see what happens come Friday.
Yeah, for sure, and we're definitely looking forward to that. And I think that Mitchkov's talent alone, like, can like almost like succumb some of the lack of other players. Like he's just that guy, realistically. But yeah, Gio, good question. Um, we'll definitely be talking more Mitchkov stuff like in our later episodes, but we just a really good question though. But so Paul Maurice, what a story. You see what happened in Winnipeg. I mean, it just I think he has the record in the NHL for the most losses as a head coach. Um, and he's just got hired. This is his second year. Comes in and he wins the cup. And you want to talk about like you know coaches and like especially with the media. So most people know, and if you don't, so we have some new people watching. So I spent some time with the media with the Philadelphia Flyers as journalists. I got to cover the team as a writer for 2 years with Flyers Nitty Gritty. Got to meet the player. Obviously, I got to interview the players, and you see how some of these guys can be with the media. Obviously, Philadelphia, we've had some players that definitely didn't want to talk to us, and coaches. I I had some good coaches. AV was here when I was doing it, so he was awesome. What a guy! The respect that he gives towards the media. When they brought that cup over to him and he just says, "Hold on 1 second," and he's celebrating and he comes back over, he gives just great explanations of everything. Like, just what a coach. I don't want to put him in the category of the underrated, overrated because I don't think he's like too high or too low. He's just he's just a really good coach. He's just a good coach, definitely a player's coach, and just people respect him. He's not a jerk. Like, I mean, there's a lot of coaches out there could be jerks, which is why some of them don't have jobs. There's the real hard nosed like guys like John Tortorella. He's just he's having fun. The game of hockey, you gotta have fun while you're playing it. Like, I mean, it can be so stressful. If you gotta have fun out there. And this whole club, Florida was just having some fun, man. They were just having so much fun out there. And a lot of that I think has to do with the leader and the way that Paul Maurice kind of kept this team going. I mean, shit. Look, you go even this playoff run when Paul Maurice called that timeout, and the next shift, boom, they come out and they score. Like he's got their attention. Lead by example. Any leader, whether it be a coach, whether it be a captain, maybe even if you don't, if it's even like men's league and you don't have a captain, but you know who your leaders are, the guys who are vocal, they are looking for you. Like, I'm not saying that people still like, beer leagues like too not too serious or whatever, but I'm still trying to lead out there and stuff like that. You know, you have to have those leaders, and Paul Maurice is an incredible leader, incredible leader, and that's also a big reason why this team won. When you have that kind of leadership behind you, it's a big deal. It really is, and coaching goes a long way. Like I said, I've always said about the Carolina Hurricanes with the way that Rob Brendan has coached that team. And like, I don't, it's crazy about that because I don't know what they need to get over the hump, but there's just a lot of talent out there. But Florida wins it. I did not see it go into 7 games. I didn't see a sweep either, but I definitely didn't see it go into 7. You the turnaround from the first 3 games to the next 3, the final 3, essentially, that was probably one of my concerns. So if I'm going to take away any concern with the way that they won, because the season's over now, not taking anything away from them winning the Stanley Cup, I couldn't be happier, realistically. I mean, besides if the Flyers would have won, of course, but it's definitely a topic of conversation because you come out so strong. Bob's absolutely playing out of his mind. Everything's buddy's firing on all cylinders, and then you simply game 4 comes and they absolutely just they don't look good at all. And that was a concern for me, like the way that Florida plays the first 3 games incredible, and then the 180. So we have some of them, the series right here essentially. So game 4, an 8-1 loss. You just that was just like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, wow, 8-1. Like, all right, yeah, maybe they're tired. They want you do the old they want to win it at home, which is I don't think that players ever think like, oh, let's just lose this game so we can get back home and win it. I don't believe in that. That's just not my thing. It's almost like I don't believe
Nah,
in
I
the like
no, if you
losing
want
on
to win, you
purpose
want
to
to
get a good draft
win.
pick. Yeah, you want to win. Hockey players are just built differently. And then they lose
Uh,
8-1.
No, I mean, but
And then
that one you throw away. That game 8-1, you just as coach, as Marie's like, you're just like, guys, fuck that. Let's never talk about it again, and let's go for 3 days from now because we have a long ass flight back home.
oh, for sure. And this was the furthest it's ever been. It was over 2,000 miles. But it's like, so from that standpoint, absolutely. But like you and I, as podcasters covering the sport, we have to think like, whoa, like what happened there? Like as well as they played, and as I don't want to say flat, but yeah, almost like kind of flat. Like Edmonton just didn't really look too good, and they come out with an 8-1. And then it's like, whoa, wow, they really, you can obviously say, hey, it's a loss, move on. Doesn't matter how much you lose by. Oh, I can't really like disregard that. That was a big state. I think that was the statement win of continuing on to force a game 7. That big win with that much of a margin win, I think was like, we could do this. We just absolutely destroyed this team. Florida's goaltender has been playing incredible, and we just did this. We got him yanked from the game. Let's go. Let's go. And then obviously, then it's 5-3. Another, 5 goals they put in. So but Bob hasn't let up more than almost 2, 3 goals all series, all playoffs in a game. And then they tie it up with a 5-1. Once again, these are big margins. These aren't empty netters like a 5-3 win, and they just score on an empty netter to make it to 5-3. Now, you understand what I'm saying? It's almost like, whoa, what's going on here? And I think that 5-1 win. So there was 2 empty netters. I'll say that there was 2 empty netters, but it showed a sign of, like, a little desperation, like, obviously, you wanna win, but, like, it's, like, almost like a little panic mode, so going into that game 7, when we put out the post on our social media, make sure you follow the, Triple Pucks podcast at Tankin41, please, thank you so much. You'll see all of our content, all of our episodes. You know, going into that game 7, most of the people I talked to and that have been reaching out to me about what I thought about the game and the conversations I've been having and then on our social media, everybody had Edmonton. I had a conversation with my good friend Bill, my good friend Scott yesterday, and we were talking a little bit about the playoff series and stuff like that. And like this, they gave me their whole theory. This is how Edmonton's going to do it. Like everybody had Edmonton winning that game 7, and I'd love to hear from the audience as well of like who you guys had winning that game 7. Even if you say Florida, I mean I know they won, but like, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But everybody I talked to had Edmonton winning the Stanley Cup. I thought that Florida was going to come out strong. I thought Florida was going to definitely win this game. But those statement wins that they had along the road were were impactful and the way that they won. That's my opinion personally. But Coach Bex, what do you think? Who did you have win the cup, Coach Bex? I want to know what you think about that. Who did you have win the Stanley Cup?
I mean, originally, like Florida was my pick, like way,
I have
before
Florida Dallas. I think I
them
had Florida
making.
Dallas when we did it. Yeah, when we did our thing, I had Florida
That
Dallas.
that
So,
was
yeah.
who I wanted to see. I had a feeling that it might be Florida Edmonton, and I think we'll have to go back and watch the tape and see if that's what I did in fact say.
Yeah, watch the photos. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think I kind of had the thought of like, if it stays tight, it stays close, I was gonna give it to Florida. But I don't know, like I was very wavering in my belief in them going into game 7. I really thought that they could do it, but yeah, like definitely wavering hardcore. Like I was like, I think Edmonton can do this. Oh my god. Like,
Yeah.
like they really had me questioning whether like Florida could turn that shit around.
Yeah. And it's a good point. And yeah, a lot of people, and I think it has a lot to do with like they didn't squeak by. Edmonton didn't squeak by any of those games they won. The 8-1, the 5-1, like they didn't squeak by. They were absolutely outplaying and destroying, and Connor McDavid had turned it up like no other. People had started to think, I think that this is about to get really, really interesting. And that's what people
Yeah.
were thinking, but that clearly wasn't the case. Florida does it. Florida wins.
Yo, can I ask you a question that we didn't?
Yeah.
This isn't in our slides, and I didn't talk to you about this.
Doesn't
But
matter. Good.
can we just nobody's brought it up? I think because Edmonton didn't score on this, but that Kachuk tripping penalty. If that is a trip moving forward in the NHL, I'll watch soccer because it's the same thing.
Did he lay on the ground too
Like
and flower around? I love when soccer players do that.
No, dude, legit fell down, like lost his edge. Right, is like sliding, like not like semi in control of his body because like professional athlete, but guy skates and falls over him, and they called him for the trip.
Well,
like it wasn't as if he fell into the guy's path. He fell and was moving along the ice, not in control, and like that's never been a penalty. Like that is at best incidental contact.
Yeah, it's hockey.
And they called that trip. Like that was something that could have changed, and it did, in my opinion, change the momentum of the game because Florida was relentless in that moment. And then all of a sudden now they're killing a penalty. Like it took them a while to get going again.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's tough with officials, and like I mean, especially being one, I know that I've had my share. It's funny. So when I played against the Sugar Bush, and she's obviously does her check in here. Little plug. Thanks for checking in, Bauer, live on Instagram with us. Bauer, thanks for checking in. I'm about to actually refer back to you, Sean, my main man. Thanks for checking in. So I just played the Sugar Bush in my league, and our good friend Carly, who we all know, Carly Petrick, she plays with Bauer as well. I'm coming up in the third period, close game, and Carly gets her stick like right in like the front of my skate, like not even like hooked, like almost like a reach out like for a poke check, but I already blew by her, and it touches my skate, and I do this.
You got toe
And just
tapped.
go down. Like it was such a delay too. Like I should have got called for flopping, and all of a sudden I fall, and then Meatball in front of me goes up, and I'm like, nice, and it probably should have been called, but you also have to keep in mind from a referee standpoint, two things I always try to think about is being consistent and don't ever abandon what you're going to do. So as soon as that mindset goes and you do this, you need to honor it. You got to go with it. Because as soon as, like, not saying the NHL guys would do this, but as soon as you do one of these, you're screwed. So it's first
now
thing,
you
it's got to be
waver.
so quick, too. Oh, now you have now the integrity's gone, and everybody's just going to fucking hound you.
Yeah.
But when I flop that call, the Sugar Bush bench, and I'll give her the plug, Allie Hirschman. Oh man, dude, she fucking laid it. They're all you flop. Like they were just absolutely laying into me. Got a comment here. Our good friend Alexis Matlack, who will be joining us in July when we do our coverage of the MS tournament. Hi, Bex. I agree that call was sketchy. Wait a minute. Where's my hello? Oh, where's my hello? How come I didn't get a hi? Anyway, I should even put that on there. Hi, Alexis.
Well, now you know
Okay.
who gets the who really gets the love there, Frankie. Sorry, man.
Yeah, we clearly know. Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm co-host Frankie Nodik. Lauren, thanks for checking on the show. Appreciate you. My good man, Ferenti. Hopefully everything's going good with you, my buddy. Doing your bronze thing since you abandoned us in the Rusty League. But yeah, I think that's just one of those calls, that it just happens. I don't think that's gonna be like a big change or anything like that. Yeah, it was a good point though. I hear you. Oh, Alexis checks in.
But
Oh, hi, Frankie. I was distracted by the beautiful co-host. Yeah, I was very distracting. What's up, brother?
That it was just like I've seen bad calls, and like I never want to, like I said, get the ref life, get the, you got to stick to what you said, even if it's a little weird. But like that one, man, it was like they were looking to call something, and they it was in such poor taste. Like, really, if that had been a deciding factor, it would have been like people would be in uproar right now.
Look at the
Like
game
I said,
tonight I was just at. when
it
I was
gets
over
right.
shooting for the Gremlins.
So like I said, nothing happened. They didn't score, but if they do, we're having an entirely different conversation.
Absolutely, because it was here it does have an impact though, because one, now the penalty kill has to play more time. Two, you're not playing 5-on-5, so now you only have your penalty killers out there, which are usually third line scraps. So yeah, it did impact the game. I mean, realistically, it did impact the game. You gotta be. I mean, those
It
calls
100% did. But I'm just saying, it's not. We're not
refs
up
get a
in
tough.
arms right
The refs,
now.
the refs get it. As a ref, I'm about to put my stripes on right now. As a ref, like we take enough get enough shit from people. Like so as a ref, like I never ever had like a real questionable call on like a penalty where somebody was like, "What the hell was that?" Like, well, I think one time, which was actually similar to the call that Meatball had when guy was going by and he was doing like almost like a poke check. His stick got in there barely, probably, but it touched it, and the guy went down, arm was up, but I had to honor the call because I already went up. My thing is sometimes like little close on the offside. Sometimes like that gets a little tight, but
Not as tight as Barkov scoring in what was that game? Game 6.
Yeah, that was
like
yeah.
Like that, like I don't know, like I'm sorry, like so between like that and how close that was crazy. That's a whole different thing. We could talk about that for a while, but this was like you were climbing over the boards, bro, and you fell onto the ice, right?
That happens to my captain all the time.
Now
Every time my captain leaves the ice, like, it was so funny. I know Sean's gonna love this. Like my captain of my team, like he'll like go for a change, like he's getting ready to come on the ice, and fucking he'll fall. And it's funny because it just happened. Like he's coming off for a change, and he's all quick, and he just flopped. And I'm like, "Yo, dude, you all right down there?" And he tried to get up, and he fell down again. He's like, "Frankie, will you shut the fuck up for 5 minutes?" And I'm like, "All right."
Okay.
And then he comes off.
Okay, so right, your dude goes to go on the ice, he falls, he's sliding towards the center ice line, and somebody from their team is skating up, not with the puck, skating up and trips over him and falls down. You're telling me you're gonna call that a trip?
No, you can't call that. So I'll tell you this, and this is crazy.
That's what they called Frankie. I mean, slightly different like scenario, but yeah.
Absolutely. It's absolutely. And it was just more or less of the fact of the falling. Listen, I won't go the exact of like their NHL reps, they're high caliber. I mean, yeah, experience is everything, but like I think listen, you have a split second. You have a split second. Like what you see it's first. There's no time to like, oh man, let me think about this for a second. If we're flying and I'm watching a play, guy comes in, stick gets in there, and the guy goes down. 9 times out of 10, my arm's up because
okay, but he
I'd rather
over a stick, dude.
So I'm just saying,
over
more or less,
body.
my example, it was a bad call. So I agree with you. It was a bad call. We're both in agreement to that, correct? It was a bad call. It shouldn't have been called 100%. But the mindset of the ref, okay? And we got guys in here that they've been playing for so long. I've refed a lot of these guys, so they can even chime in as well. And we have some refs in here. The mindset of a ref is to split the second decision. Okay. Now, granted, it was a bad call. I don't know why he called it, but once you go up, it's going. Oh, never mind. He already honored it. It was a bad call. I agree with it, but the mindset of the ref is he saw what he saw. Not sure. He doesn't have to explain to anybody, but it goes up and it's a call. It's funny because I'm pretty sure with this conversation you'll probably like to hear this. I've been seeing a few reporters wanting the officials to get on get on.
Oh yeah, they're talking about officials got to do pressers. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, part of me says yeah, they don't have to like go into everything, and it can just be this occurrence, and this occurrence, and those are the
Yeah,
three
well, those are the
things.
questions they're gonna get. Yeah, those are the questions that they're
Right. Well,
probably
yeah,
gonna
but I
get.
mean, like guys could really get in on refs, and like they could
Oh,
like
yeah,
like I
why
think
did
it
you
would
miss
have to
that
be
offsides? Why did you do this? Absolutely
right.
100%.
Like I think it's less the reporters like questioning and more specific incidents within the game are addressed, whether it be a penalty, a goal, an offsides, and they just say like just matter
This
of
is what we
factly
saw.
like this is what I saw.
This is what we
Yeah,
saw, and it's
like
tough because referees get so much abuse, dude. Like, I would even be okay if, so people in the press box, the reporters, et cetera, like, 24 hours later, essentially, or 24 hours later, referees have to log certain things that happen to where like reporters can go back and look at the log of the explanation. So it's not like the referees
right.
have to go in front of a mic, like say, "Hey, per the officiating box, this was the explanation given," and then you can report on that, or you can cover that instead of putting the refs up there because that could get ugly. I mean, it can
Right,
get ugly, but
that's the concern there, and that's like so. Yeah, I think there should be an accountability of like, why the hell did you make that call? What did you see that even
exactly.
I
Mhm.
can't even. Who is it that they always bring in as their like professional like referee to answer the questions on the
Yeah, yeah,
like
I know.
analysis?
Depends on the station. Yeah.
Yeah, when even like that person is like, like I want to know what
Yeah.
you saw, sir, please.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, 100%. And the good thing is we have, as an official, like, I'm not a professional or anything like that, but I can, I passed the test. I'm obviously, a lower level, but like, I passed the test for a reason. Like, I could give my take on certain plays now and watching them. So, going forward, if we ever want to dissect a play, we absolutely could. The thing
Yeah.
that
Oh,
of the topic of this conversation, real quick, if you don't mind, a lot of this stemmed from that Flyers game where Tortorella wouldn't leave the bench and the way that he was acting towards the officials when a player was told to leave. That's a reason why it's tough to like get these officials in front because dude, officials like they can get a lot of shit, and they control the
absolutely.
game.
It's why there's such a shortage out there of referees, and let alone like good referees, qualified referees. And
Mhm.
that's obviously something we've discussed before. And I don't, I'm not trying to sit here and like rip dude apart, but like,
Yeah, I
and
know.
usually, like you can see something from the other side, or you're like, well, maybe he saw this. And that's, I think, the first time I've ever been honest to God floored by a call
Mhm.
where I was like, did they pay you? Like that, that was my feeling in that moment. Was I was like,
What is it? What is
you're
it? Bill Donahue? Remember Bill Donahue, the NBA official?
yeah,
I
but
think
like
that was his
for
name.
real, like that
Yeah.
was like what that felt like. But on a referee status, can we shout out one of some big news here? We've got Laura White is the AAHA official of the year. So got to give a congrats to her, and got married, so double congrats.
Hold on, real quick, Bex. Real quick, Bex. Real
Oh,
quick, you froze up. You froze up real fast, so we didn't get that plug. So just 1 second. Hold on 1 second, and we'll actually absolutely do that plug. But I just want to plug this real quick, just for the freezing purposes. Good friend of mine, my good friend Santoro. Everybody knows him. Great ambassador. My good friend John Hood. They have a big event coming up in October, and we're gonna have them on to talk about it. But I just want to put the flyer up here. It's Saturday, October 5th at Hollydale. Um, it's the Camden County Warriors against the New Jersey State Police. Great tournament. Pregame stuff. There's a big ceremony. They're gonna be doing a lot of stuff down there. I've been talking with them. All the money goes to an incredible foundation. This is also, with talking to them about it, within like the mental health community and stuff like that. Um, just wanted to just plug this little bad boy. We're gonna be doing a show with them. To go really in the depth about this more. I've been talking with them about getting involved as well. So you'll definitely be seeing us down there. Just wanted to put that up there and give that little plug for them for the big game that's coming up in October. Obviously, we have some time, but I just wanted to put it up there just to give it a mention. But Coach Becks, go right ahead. Since we're on the topic of officials, go ahead, give your plug.
Yeah. So AAHA Referee of the Year was announced, and it was Laura White, who Santora
Hey,
was.
our friend Laura. All right.
Yeah, our good friend Laura, AAHA Referee of the Year. So shout out to her.
Nice. Awesome.
I was just in her wedding.
Yes, you
Santora did the
were.
nuptials. Believe it or not. So we got a little double congrats to
Santoro
her.
did?
Yeah.
Did he? Oh my God,
Um,
outrageous. Well, that's awesome.
so
Congratulations,
yeah,
Laura.
but
We
yeah,
definitely want to get her
AAHA
on. That's
Referee of the
awesome.
Year. So
Let's go.
absolutely big accreditation there, and hopefully we'll see her in the NHL sooner than later.
Heck yeah. We'll have to get her on. There's incredible stuff all the way around. Got a comment here, and obviously we went really talked about it at the beginning of the show. Our good friend Don Yurgi, go Cats and Rats. I obviously I got to see Dawn tonight. Or the Gremlins played in the playoffs. Tough loss, but thanks for checking in, Dawn. Like I said, I'll just say this just about her. Seeing what her program. Make sure you follow all the Gremlins hockey team at the Gremlins hockey club. Follow them on their social media. We're gonna have them come on in July covering that. Talk about the MS and going to talk about tournament and her club. Man, I'll tell you, shooting with that team tonight, like what Dawn is just an incredible person. Always very thankful when I get to come out. But what a leader, what a captain. Like she's a player that like you want as like your leader, man. She just does incredible. She's doing incredible things over there. So Dawn, thanks for checking in. Looking forward to the future. And it was great seeing you and your club tonight. Like, we're big supporters of Gremlins hockey over here. We gotta get us a chirping pucks Gremlin jersey. Dog, can we make that you know what? Dog, can we make that happen for us? Can we get a a Gremlins jersey with the back saying "Chirping Pucks"? I'm sure she can make that happen for us. Let me know. We would absolutely support that. I mean, I would love
Yeah.
that. Another comment here.
Yergi is Gremlin's bar cub.
No, she's no joke. Our good friend, Ponytail Goalie. She usually comes on Instagram, but she's on Facebook today. Yurgi, the best. Yeah, absolutely the best. Thanks for checking in, Kat. Appreciate it as always. Make sure you check out her Ponytail Goalie on her YouTube channel. Actually, it's funny. Her and I had like a little meeting after her game, going over some like content stuff like that. We were talking about like our YouTube channels and all. She's gonna be having some stuff, some cool content coming on her YouTube channel. So make sure you follow her on her YouTube channel at Ponytail Goalie on YouTube and Instagram. But yeah, that's gonna do it for like you know our uh our Stanley Cup final. We just want to cover one more little thing, and that's because it was announced today, and that's obviously the 2024 inductees for the NHL Hockey Hall of Fame. Timing is everything. So oh, look at this. We can kind of actually still talk to each other, and still see each other. So the class of
Oh, that.
2024 comes out. Um, some big names here: Shea Weber, Jeremy Roenick, really big names. What Jeremy Roenick obviously playing with the Flyers. I am a huge Pavel Datsyuk fan. I mean, everybody knows the Datsyuk, and it's funny because Yurgi had a goal tonight, and she obviously does a lot of like cool stick handles and stuff like that. And when she was coming down, she almost like she had the stick out. And honestly, I'm shooting her, and I'm like, no, she's not going to try and pull this off. And I thought she was going to do the old pull back Pavel and go around, but she still made her move because she got the goalie to bite and she had it open. Like I thought she was going to come out with a Pavel. So, but yeah, great inductees there. Any names stick out to you, obviously, that you were like, "Oh, well, that's really cool that they're on there." Anybody?
I mean, I think it's kind of cool that like Nashville's together in that. But I mean,
Mm.
Darwitz and Wendell going in, obviously from the women's side, like
awesome. It's incredible.
That's phenomenal. Two great leaders. I mean, Datsuk, I'm shocked it took this long. That's probably like in my brain, like the thing, like I'm like, how did it take him this long to like to get
You
in?
ever forget
like,
that when he retired? I feel like I just saw him still playing like over another league, but like, dude, like with that Detroit team, like they already had so many, and all of a sudden here comes this rookie, and like he's probably, excuse me, one of my favorite players of like all time. Like obviously, like besides like the Flyers guys, like big Forsberg fan, but Pavel Datsyuk was, I mean, the Datsyuk, the Pavel, dude, you know what I mean? It was he was the best. So
So the way I look at it, right? Like you gotta like players that change the game, right? Like to me, his hands changed the game for the next generation.
silky mitts.
Right. Silk like in
Dude,
the way
the
that like
silkiest.
Bure was
Yep.
speed that we'd never seen before.
Mhm.
Pavel was
And control
hands
the
like
puck.
we'd never.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Like you can still watch highlights of him putting guys on his ass just from his stick handling, and like
Yeah.
you'd be like, he could do that to kids in the NHL right now. Like.
Oh yeah,
Like
for sure.
he's the guy who inspired the Patrick Kanes and like those next generations,
100%.
and now we're seeing the fruits of that, of like these guys pulling Michigans and like
A
all
lot.
these kids on a lot, right? And then there's like the whole subset of like these guys on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, that like they're doing crazy stick tricks that like I don't know, when I was 10 years old, I wasn't like, could I flip this in the air? Could I flip my stick? Could I catch it? Could I dribble it like a little lacrosse
Yeah.
ball? And I played lacrosse
Good
and I was
point.
like, now that's not possible. Like, and to me, it's
Yeah.
like in my mind, Datsuk is what made that stuff possible. So like to me,
That's
for him to not be in till now is crazy.
That's a good point you make, like about like the stick handle thing. And Jurgs, if you're still on, I want to know like your take on this. Like what kind of influenced you? Because obviously, and make sure you follow Dawn Yorker on social media and follow Gremlins Hockey, because she's always doing some good content. She does a lot of cool stick handles. What Dawn? And I know like I feel like I'm asking like, but she's not even really here. But was there an inspiration for you, Dawn? Like that kind of got you going to really wanting to work on your control? Obviously, I know that you're really big on like, improving your game and becoming, a better player and stuff like that. And you focus on skill and really want to improve, and not just by playing, but actually doing stuff outside of it. And is there anybody that kind of like, inspired you to do that? Because she's good too, man. Like when she's doing her moves, like she's got mitts. She's an incredible player. I want to know if anybody kind of inspired her, but like, yeah, it's a good point that you made, Coach. Was the players that like inspired, because you're 100% right. Like for example, like Ovechkin, like when he used to go down, when he had that goal where he went down and spat on his head, we all used to try that in open hockey. Like we would all try and do the spin. We would all try to do the Pavel or the Forsberg. And you're right. Like the next generation now people are doing the Michigan, and you're seeing it so often. The Michigan's been around forever, but it's that generation
Right.
now. Like you're seeing it. I mean, shit, we see it sometimes like twice in a game. Like Anaheim Ducks. Actually, there's talks that the
Zegras.
Flyers won him. Zegras. He did it like 2, 3 times already and scored. Oh, they also did the flip over. The flip the puck over and he
yeah.
hit it. That was
To
crazy
Sonny
too.
Milano, yeah. But
Yeah, man.
but Mishkov scored 2 Michigans in one game. Just PS, that the Flyers draft pick that's coming over. 2 Michigans, one game. He's gonna give John Tortorella a freaking coronary.
Dude, I can't wait. You're gonna get me all pumped up. But yeah, great induction class. Obviously, Jeremy Roenick. We can touch on him for a minute. He was with the Philadelphia Flyers for a while. A lot of people remember him when he had, the Toronto series where Darcy Tucker hit Sammy Kapanen, and Kapanen came off, and Jeremy Roenick came right in the play, went bar down, and he does a little celebration and sent the Flyers. Awesome to see JR get in there. Really, really, really cool to see Jeremy Roenick get in there. That was probably.
Yeah.
I was surprised. He was
Yeah,
always a really great player, American born. But yeah, I don't think he ever won a Stanley Cup, did he? I don't think he ever won a cup. He was with the Blackhawks for a while. He was with us for a while. Yeah, the Kings. Yeah, I don't know if he won a Stanley Cup. I'll have to look into that.
But he's a
I don't know.
great
Yeah,
ambassador of the game. Like, really, the only
it's important.
blemish kind of he has was the the comment that got him kicked off of
His opinions.
main TV. Otherwise,
Mhm.
he made a
He's got the
inappropriate
podcast
joke.
now.
But
Yeah, I know.
oh
He's got the
yeah,
podcast
like,
now
but
with
that's what I'm
official
saying.
Tim
Like,
Beal.
he's always been an ambassador of the game,
Yeah,
and he's always kept it real.
absolutely.
And like, he is one of the great American players, so it doesn't surprise
Oh
me.
yeah.
I think the player that surprises me that's not in the Hall of Fame is Alexander McGillney. That is the player to me that I'm like, how is
And
he still
he
not
had
inducted?
8 years of 40+ goals. Like, he was incredible. That's actually a good point. And actually, I'm looking it up as we're talking. If you want to like, keep talking about McGillney, because I want to see who actually were the nominees for this year.
Yeah, so
I'm looking up.
McGillney's been one. He's been one for multiple years in a row. I know in the women's front, Angela Ruggiero was another for the Hockey Hall of Fame, which I would love to see her go in, because a great ambassador of the game. She actually went and played ECHL, like professional,
Yeah.
like, I guess we call it men's hockey now.
Yeah.
So I think, like, there are people who are still coming, but yeah, to me, McGillney, with not only like the his situation of coming over here is crazy, but it's like,
Yeah.
to be like one of
People
the,
forgot
like,
about that. Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, like that's some spy.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's the movie that hasn't been made. That's like,
Mhm.
you want to take spy thriller and mesh it with hockey.
It was like Argo. It was like fucking Fargo. Like, how they fucking try to get the people back home and shit. It was crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, no, that one's definitely got a Hollywood cinema status. If somebody would get it together, just putting it out there, guys. Somebody make that movie for me.
Yeah, let's make that movie. But yeah, I love it. Congratulations to all of them for sure. But yeah, it was a good one. Thanks for everybody for, like, tuning into the show tonight. I know we did a little bit late, but just want to do a little quick plug here for our good friends Puck Pro Media. Give them a follow. Puck Pro Media on all their social media platforms. Just type in Puck Pro Media. We're gonna be doing a lot of video work together. They do my mic'd up stuff. So Puck Pro Media, give them a follow. Tell them the Triple Pucks podcast sent you. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us on this wonderful episode of the Triple Bucks podcast. Coach Becks, always here, always great to have you with me on a late night. I am Frankie Nodeek. Thanks for checking in, and thanks for what was my oh see what was it? See you later or see you on another time.
Maybe.